everyone.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel.
Alright, are you guys curious to know a little bit about our childhoods and how different mine was from hers? Stay tuned.
Welcome back.
Alright, so in tonight's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about our childhoods and how different it was. I think sometimes people don't take the time to look back at their childhood and see how it was, whether it was good or was bad. I think how you're raised kind of makes who you are. It does make a big difference, and whether it's good or it's bad, because if it was bad, then it's your job to, be better in life and make yourself better and learn from your mistakes. And if it was, good, I think it's good to reminisce and, look back and see, what you were doing back then and how you raised, your morals and respect and all of that. While we're talking, our baby's taking a nap, so we thought we'd take the opportunity to make this video with you guys.
And since you said baby, I think that now that we are parents, I think that when you become a parent, you do reflect back on your childhood and you do take the good and the bad and you want to make it better with your children. So
tonight, I was telling her, we were always talking about like how different her childhood was compared to mine. It's kind of funny in a way because it's like, man, like I feel like sometimes she got spoiled or she had it like way better than me, but in some other stuff, like I think I probably had it better than her. There is an age difference between us. I mean, she's 35 and I'm barely 20. So
I was all getting ready for you to say the opposite.
Yeah,
that is so funny.
I'm actually older than her. But we'll leave that for another video. So I'm older than her, and I'm a true 90s baby. So I got
I was born in the 90s,
but I got to live in the 90s. So I got the best cartoons and playing outdoors and not being afraid to scrape your knees and everything. And it was a different childhood for me. So are we gonna start with you, or are you gonna start with me?
Let's start with you.
Alright, so the whole reason why this started is because, like she said, and she mentioned, like, now that we are parents, or now that I'm a dad, like, I think a lot of how I was raised and my childhood and, what I want different for my daughter, for my baby.
The same and different. So there was, definitely good things.
I mean, I want to imply the good things, but at the same time, I want to apply what wasn't there for me. But it's kind of hard to like try to think like having a happy medium where like, okay, I don't want her to be this, but I do want her to experience this a little bit. And mind you, she's only a year old, so I don't even know why I'm tripping, but I'm tripping. So we're always talking about like our childhood. So first of all, for me, I want to say that like half of my childhood was in Mexico, and the rest of it was here. So when I came to the US, I was only 7 years old. So half of my childhood, you could say that I was in Mexico, and I do have the memories of when I was over there. And I want to say that my half childhood that I was in Mexico wasn't as good as the one I was here. First of all, when I was there, I was raised by my grandma on my dad's side, and the dad wasn't around, the mom wasn't around, so it was just like being with her, and she would send me to school in Mexico and everything, and things were kind of tough, money wise, and like as a kid I remember going to school and seeing the kids eating a big ass torta and me not having money to get it. Although the last day that I was in Mexico, probably the last week that I was in Mexico when I found out that I was gonna be coming to the US. Finally, I had money, and I told my dad, like, hey, you know, since you're taking me over there and you came down here personally to tell me, how about you give me some pesos and that way I could go buy me a torta. So he gave me some money, and the next day I was like ready to go and buy me a torta, and then guess what? They came to pick me up at night and they brought me to the US. And when I was on the plane to Guadalajara, I was like, shit, man, I missed my first torta that I was gonna buy at school. And you know, it's just, that was me being raised over there. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention a very important thing that I would tell her. I think part of the reason too why, like, I feel like I'm a little more comfortable like speaking to people or like dancing or performing or talking in front of people is because like most of my life I've been exposed to things like that. So when I was in Mexico, one of my aunts used to sell raspados and what are they called? Los tacos al vapor. So if you don't know what tacos al vapor is, it's just like...
Then you're
Man, she's on you guys. So tacos al vapor, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just this big old pot, una olla, and then they like put tortillas with like either beans or papa and queso, and then they steam up so they're really soft, and then you kind of serve them like if they're like tamales with sour cream and queso and everything. So my job was to sit in front of a little car she used to push, and my job was to be like screaming. Like I remember I used to be screaming like elotes, elotes, and freaking tacos al vapor, but I wasn't like how the Chilango style, like pásele, tenemos tacos de papa y queso. No, I was not like that. I was just a little kid, I was 7, but she would pay me for it, and the best reward actually that I would get was like actually getting to eat the damn tacos. But I remember riding around in front of the car and everything, so I definitely wasn't shy. Then the rest of my life that I was here in the US already, and then I got to meet all my extended family and all the cousins and primos and tias and everything. Like everything changed for me because I didn't have that over there. I didn't have like kids to play with or cousins to play with, or I have, first of all, you guys should know that I have, my mom had 9 kids. So it's 6 brothers and 3 sisters. But at the time over there, like, I didn't know where anyone was. Like, some were already in the US, but some of them were like older and married and everything. And like, we were all pretty much apart. So when I arrived over here and then I started like meeting everybody, like my brothers, my cousins and stuff, and it was like amazing for me. Like, shit, I didn't even know I had brothers and sisters. So everything changed for me, and I was able to, you know, get that experience of like playing outside and everything. Even though mom was not like, oh yeah, mijo, juega toda la noche. Like, no, my mom was very strict with me. Like, my mom raised me pretty much like a princess. Like, yeah.
But that made you who you are.
She raised me like a princess. Pretty much like, you know, you can't stay out late. No, you can't go sleep over at your cousin's, and no, you do whatever the hell I say. And until now, you know, that I'm a parent myself and I'm an adult, I understand her. You know, I understand the reason behind why she was doing it, and you know what her worries were and everything. But you know, there's like I said, there always has to be a happy medium. But I did get to play a lot outside, games that she claims she knows, but she doesn't really know, because there was times where there was a special party or some family event that I was up all night in the hood. And I mean, I lived in the hood. I grew up in Eastside San Jose, so I lived in the hood where we would play in the callejones till like freaking 2 in the morning, playing kick the can or dodgeball, kickball, you name it. I broke windows. My mom never found out.
Until now. Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. She probably not understanding. Quebré una ventana. So I broke. So I broke windows and she never found out. And you know, that's the type of stuff. You know, the different experiences that I.
Okay, can I interrupt you? I'm gonna put my mom on blast. He broke a window and he couldn't tell his mom. But me and my mom broke a window and we ran away.
Damn.
Until this day, we didn't pay the lady.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So sad. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know that.
Sorry, neighbor.
Yeah, he's gonna be looking at this video and he's gonna call you guys like, yeah, pay me now. Well, I didn't know she broke windows, but at least I didn't do it with my mom. Shit, my mom would have kicked my ass. But anyways, grew up over here, and you know, I guess my childhood, it was like once I arrived over here, it was like going to school, taking care of your younger sister. I had my younger sister who has a disability, and I helped my mom a lot, like taking care of her and stuff. So besides that, any opportunity that I had to like go out and party and everything, you know, I did it. And I guess not partying, but going out and playing, and especially living in the hood, like you had all the plugs. Like you had the little chinita ladies that sold candies, and we had like 4 different types. So if you went to one and didn't have hot Cheetos, you'll run to the next freaking block and go to the next lady. And then we already knew that the Mexican ladies were more expensive than the chinitas, so we'd go to the chinitas. So that's how it was. And then, you know, besides that, I think once after, you know, my childhood, and I was still living in the hood in my teenage years, and it was a different experience because, you know, I got to hang out with like people that I went to school with, and
People that he knows till this day.
Yeah,
that
till-
he's still
till this
close with till this day. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And also one thing that you guys should know, and I don't think I have a picture. Well, I do have a picture. I might share in this video.
What?
I might not. The one where I look like a pimp with 2 girls next to me. But I maybe shouldn't post it because I don't know if those girls are still around. I don't have communication with them, and I don't want to get sued. But I was a pimp. But
He's been saving that picture because he says like he's gonna tell Luna that he was a pimp back in the day.
because I got to be in the era where you would go to the mall and take like those.
I was in that era. It was
Pictures.
my era.
No, it wasn't
Yes,
the
it
era,
was.
bro.
I have those awkward pictures too.
But how old were you?
Like in 8th grade.
That's it.
That was what, 14? 13?
Yeah.
Really, I have those.
So anyways, we would go there and take pictures, and you know, just me and 2 girls. But
They were awkwardly posing like this.
But you must know that in that time, I think since I was 10 years old, you gotta think of it like this. This brown Mexican kid that barely ate in Mexico comes to the US and gets introduced to Burger King right in the corner of our house. Like, I blew up. I ate so much, I blew up. So I was a chubby kid. And once I got to my teenage years, I was like, oh, well, this can't happen anymore. I can't be chubby. I need to be good looking and get girlfriends, and you know, they're not gonna want to look at the chubby kid because I can't even run after them. I'll pass out. so anyways, and that's our baby. She woke up. Give us 1 minute.
4 hours later.
And we're back. Sorry, our baby woke up and we had to be parents. We had to go take care of her. No, I didn't hit her. We just took care of her.
Why would you even
calm her
say
down.
that? That
It's 'cause
was
I did
funny.
this. I did this.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah,
you
so
said it's
I
the
think
biggest
I left
one.
off when I was talking about me being chubby, and then once I hit the teenage years, I was like, no, I can't be chubby anymore. I want a girlfriend. So there was one of my friends who inspired me because he himself was kind of on the heavier side, and then he wasn't. And if he watches this video, he knows who he is, and if he wants me to disclose his name later, then he should comment. But yeah, he inspired me, and then I started working out. I lived next to a park, and they had a track and everything, so I would wake up 5 in the morning, go jog, come back, take a shower, go to school. But then
Wake up at 5 in the morning.
yeah, to go jog. Anyways, it was great. Yeah, lost a lot of weight and got girlfriends and everything, but fortunately it didn't go as I expected. The reason why it ended up being bad for me was because I dropped out of high school. So when I believe I was
Sophomore year or junior year?
yeah, it was gonna be I was gonna start a junior year, but I didn't. So that was like the biggest mistake that I ever made. Not then, because then I was like, no, I have to do this. Like, this is what I have to do. And my mom told me, no seas pendejo. And I didn't listen. So yes, Mom, you were right. But then after that, you know, I had to straighten out my life, and it was definitely, you know, different for me. I hung around different people, and it was different for us growing up in the hood, and we did different things, and we went to a lot of different places, you know, like going and kicking in the mountains, going to the drag races, you know, all illegal kind of stuff, and I was lucky. You know, I never really got in trouble. I always
Never got in trouble.
In part, it was because I had a lot of good friends. Like, regardless of what we were doing, I had a lot of great friends, and we always took care of each other. And you know, that was, I think that's one of the best things that I've had in my childhood. That I've always had, you know, good friends and people that care for me and care for and stuff like that. So you know, that was pretty much my childhood. I did skip something that I'm gonna share with people. Before I actually, like, you know, got settled in the U.S., things didn't go well for me. Not for me, but you know, there was issues that, because my dad is the one that brought me to the U.S., my biological father, and he got into some trouble. Anyways, long story short, I ended up being in foster care. I ended up in, what do they call those?
Group home?
Well, it's like a temporary home. Before they find your actual foster home where you're gonna be staying, you're going from one house to another till they find like where you're gonna be established. I went through that, so I was in the system for about a year, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like it was the worst time in my life. Like, you know, now as an adult, like I do think like, yeah, you know, no child should go through stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like there's always a good side to everything. So I did have a blast while I was there. You know, the people treated me great. You know, they were family oriented. They took me to church, and you know, I lived in a big old mansion in Los Angeles. So I couldn't have been in a better place. So, but at the end of the day, you know, I was reunited with my mom, and I got to meet all my family and cousins and everything. And you know, it's great. I don't want to get too deep into it, and like, unless you guys, you know, have more questions and you want to comment, you know, I'll be happy to
Make a whole video.
Yeah,
on
maybe
that
make a whole
subject.
video on that subject. But yeah, that was one of the biggest things in my childhood. But other than that, you know, life is great. I think I can't complain of where I am right now, and I always tell her that my childhood helped me develop into the person that I am today. You know, and I'm more understanding, and you know, I always reflect and look back and think of what it took for me to be the person that I am today. So whether it was good or whether it was bad, you know, I turned it all around and I made it work, and I made it, you know, better. Enough about me. Now let's go to her, because she is gangster. She grew up straight in the hard hoods of Fremont, California, where the death rates are one person per year. And it was a suicide.
Shut up. No, he makes it seem like I grew up in a palace and that I'm this princess. I didn't suffer. No. Like, let me tell you, my parents had their fair share of struggles, you know. And before we moved to Fremont, we all lived in a little apartment in San Jose. I went to kindergarten in San Jose. I think it was called Lowell, downtown. I went there. Before I started first grade, we moved to a house in Fremont, and that's where I grew up. I went there. I went to elementary school there, middle school, and high school. So I kind of grew up with the same people. I have 3 siblings, so I did have to share a room. So
Mariana has a big family.
yes, so I do have an extended family. My mom has a lot of cousins. She has 5 siblings, and then she has 3 step siblings, and her family is just huge.
The list goes on.
Yeah, Mauricio still to this day, he's like, who is she again? Where did I meet her again? or how is she related to you? Like he can't keep up.
And it's confusing, like, oh, there's your tia. No, she's not my tia, she's actually my cousin. I'm like, what? And then it's like the cousin that I thought was the cousin, but it ends up being a tia, and it's like, man, it's crazy. Like, then there's other ones where like, oh no, she could actually be my grandma or something. What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness. Well, anyways, so I grew up in Fremont, so it was like a safer environment, I guess you could say. But my parents were really strict, and till this day, I think that I'm a married ass woman, but they're still strict.
Qué bueno, suegro, qué bueno. Usted sí fue duro.
No, they did a great job, and now that I'm a mom.
But they used to not think that.
What?
But they did a good job. You guys were rebels growing up.
If I did something bad, I think it's a handful of times, and for whatever I did, I'm sorry, Mom. No. Actually, I was that buzzkill. Like, I was that friend that went out and thought that she was a badass, and then in the moment, I'd be like, oh my god, what if I get caught? Oh no, I think that's my mom. My friends that are watching are probably
Mariana thought the CIA was following her
Yes.
all the time, everywhere. She was like the buzzkill, like, you're killing my buzz, dude.
Yeah.
You're killing my height.
Anyways. So...
Mariana was super involved in school. Like, super involved.
Not super involved.
I'm coming in and out of the camera because I'm taking care of my baby, just so you know.
Yeah, and then he's like my guide. I guess like my mind goes like a million miles per hour, and I'm like, okay, what else am I supposed to talk to you? He's just so natural.
So she was super involved in like all high school activities. She's like dancing and everything. Her mom.
So actually, when I was, believe it or not, I'm not athletic, obviously, and my parents are probably laughing while they're watching this. But when I was in 3rd grade, I played baseball, and I went to tryouts, and I don't know why they didn't like put me with a guy, like with another girl. They put me with like the best freaking 3rd grade baseball player, and the first thing that happens to me is a freaking ball to the face. Like, I didn't know how to catch a ball. So I had a black eye. I was very disappointed because I thought that I was going to disappoint my dad. So that's that. If I find a picture, I'll probably put it on here. But I did that. And then in 6th grade, I played basketball. I was okay, I guess. And 8th grade, I played basketball again. So, I mean, out of all the sports, I think that's what I liked the most. And then when I got into high school, I joined this club thing that they had going on at the high school that's called Mecha, and it was awesome because they had this dance like program thing that they do. It's called Primo Latino, and that was our baby. Like, me and my friends, we loved when it came time for that, and we would set up the whole show, and not only that, we would dance, we would choreograph and dance in it, so it was awesome. Other than that, aside from all this that's like, you know, nice and like princessy, my parents did struggle a lot. Like, they didn't have a lot of help with childcare, and we spent a lot of time with babysitters. I actually, when I got to the age to be old enough to babysit, I babysat my siblings. So that was kind of tough. But
she still abused them too.
No, but I can say I potty trained David, so I'm gonna be ready for Luna. My parents, they're so hardworking, and I'm so grateful that I have these parents, because I wouldn't be who I am now if it wasn't for the way they raised us. And when I say hardworking, I mean like they worked like 7 days a week nonstop. And I remember this one time, I was maybe, I don't even know what grade I was in. I was probably like in 2nd grade. There was this Asian place that we really liked, and
Asian food.
We love Asian food. And I had gone with my dad to see a job. Like, my dad, for those who don't know, he does concrete. So I would go after school and kind of like translate for him sometimes. If not, then I would just sit there in a bucket and wash his tools. And other times I would just do homework in the truck, depending if he needed help or not. Anyways, so that day in particular, we were driving by there, and like any kid that goes out, you know, with their parents, you're always hungry, you know? Like, you always want, you know, outside food, not lo que hay en la casa. So I'd be like, bye, me compras comida china? And he'd be like, okay. So we'd go inside, And then I remember he grabbed and like he talked to the Asian guy. I don't know if I'm supposed to say Asian guy, but to the guy.
Talk to the guy of the restaurant.
To the guy of the restaurant, and he was like, you know, talking to him like privately over there, and I was like, okay, he's just ordering my food or whatever. So we walked back to the car. Everything was in a bag, and then when we got into the truck, I opened the bag, and instead of being like an actual, you know, tray with like different items on there, it was just like a little plate with like a little bit of rice and a little bit of chicken. And I remember looking at him and saying like, ¿Y tú no vas a comer? Like, you're not gonna eat with me? You know? And then he looked at me, and then he smiled and he said, oh, no tengo hambre. Okay, minutes later, we get to the house, and by that time I had already, you know, eaten the whole plate. And the first thing he did was go heat up a plate of food at the house. So at that moment, I didn't get what was happening. Like, I didn't see like, oh, you liar, you know, you were hungry. But now that we talk about it, we actually both get emotional because, you know, times were rough. Like, he wasn't, you know, able to, he didn't want to say no to me. And I would do the same with my child. I wouldn't want to say no to her. But he wasn't in the predicament to be able to buy, you know, a full meal for both of us. So I'm forever grateful for my father. He's my hero, and my mom too. They literally are the best parents and grandparents. And like I said, I always say it to me, to my husband, to my family, and to my siblings. Like, we're so lucky to have the parents that we have, because even though we grew up in the great neighborhood and we went to the, you know, really good schools and stuff, we could have ended badly. Like,
I think that was because of them too and their hard work. And probably the moral of your story is like, you had no idea why he did what he did back then.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, he shared the story with her, but then, you know, years later, I would say years later, because after we got married and everything, he shared the story with me. And by that time, my daughter was like probably 5-6 months old, and it hit me, man. Like, it hit me because it's like, I never want to be in a predicament where like my daughter asked me to buy her something, and then like I
not
can't
be
buy
able
it.
to, yeah.
Yeah, so we apologize to be cutting on and off, but we're taking care of our little child and trying to share a story here with you guys. Now that we're adults and we listen to stories like that, it makes us like reflect and really think back the childhood that we had and the things that our parents did, you know, for us, and the things that we did when we were younger. And you know what I meant when I said earlier, like, I don't want to be in a predicament where my daughter asks me for something and I can't get it. Like, sometimes things are tough and you're just not gonna buy something because you don't want to, and you think you're not gonna, you know, like, you shouldn't be spending money on silly stuff. But when it comes to something simple like that, like, you know, your daughter being hungry and, you know, just want to have a meal with you, and you not being able to, you know, to afford it, you know, it's tough, you know. And you know, he had to bite the bullet and come back home and eat, you know, and lie to his daughter. But at the end of the day, you know, it's pure love, because he didn't have to. He could have just taken her back home and cooked, but you know, he wanted to give her that. It's beautiful. I would do the same thing, you know, to my kids. So I think she had a way of a different life than I did, because she participated in all school events and, you know, was in teams and all that. And the only thing that I participated in school was fights, or, you know, going to watch people fight.
But did you die?
I didn't die, but
I'm just kidding.
Those are the type of things that I participated. I made different lists than she did.
Lord.
But regardless, it's crazy how, like, you know, even though how different our childhoods are and stuff, it's like now we're, you know, pretty much, you know, so like, what do you call it?
Oh, something I do want to add is that I was reading the other day, like, oh, how, you know, raising a child, it takes a village, and it really does. And I think I left out, you know, this part of my childhood, but my grandma helped my parents a lot, and she is like my third parent. So I do want to give her, you know, a shout out, because I wouldn't be who I am without my grandma. She's amazing. She raised, you know, 5 beautiful kids and me, basically. So thank you, Grandma. And my village with Luna it's what?
Luna just bit my finger. Sorry.
I have had a village of my own with Luna, and those of you who help a lot with her, you guys know who you are. And thank you very much.
My grandma, on the other side, my grandma could hit you probably about 15 foot away
With
her
a chancla.
And I have witnesses. My cousin, Edgar, you know it's true. My grandma could hit you 15 foot away in motion. Running.
And on the other hand,
She would laugh at me.
I don't think that my grandma has ever hit me.
Yeah, see, that's the difference.
But let me tell you why. Because I was a perfect baby. I was a perfect child. I sat and I didn't like run around. I was like perfect. Ask anybody.
Everybody who's not perfect would always say that they are perfect. But regardless if she wasn't perfect then, she's perfect for me now.
Oh, sucker!
So that was, I guess, kind of a brief story about, you know, the differences in our childhood and stuff. And we take everything in, like, you know, like the style, the different things that we went through as kids, because we want to make it different for our child. And, you know, even though no la peinamos,
Bro, she was ready
we
for
love
bed.
her.
She was already sleeping, by the way. Okay, don't make me piques.
So yeah, we're all ready for bed. Like, I'm wearing PJs too.
I'm not. I'm wearing jeans.
My butt looks big.
Oh my gosh, your dad, Donna. Good luck.
Yeah. I'm also a better twerker. And
No.
Than she is.
No.
Yeah, that's a little bit of our childhood.
Anything else that I should add? I feel like you talked a lot, and I kind of just skipped through like the main part.
I do talk a lot. I do talk a lot.
But
Because I have a lot of shit that
do you think that I missed anything that you would add?
I don't know if you missed anything else about your childhood.
Let me see. What was this? One time that mi tío didn't take me to the pool. I'm just kidding.
You probably should.
I just wanted to
She
see
still
his
remembers.
reaction.
But we can share that in another video.
Okay. Well, something I didn't say. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but my first job, I was a janitor, guys. I was Mariana the janitor. So I earned my money. See, I wasn't just a princess. I actually, during the week, my mom and I would go and clean.
She was still a princess because she was employed by her mom. Just saying.
But I scrubbed toilets. I
Shitty
worked hard.
toilets.
Hmm?
Shitty toilets.
And now, let me tell you, that's my least favorite chore.
Parents are always trying to learn how to be the best parent they could be, and you know, we're not always going to be perfect. That's the way that I can see it, you know, because it's a lot of responsibility. Like, your kid's life and future depend on you, and it's just like, if you didn't have the same role models growing up, like if your parents weren't, you know, giving you all that love and attention and everything, like, it's hard for you. I think it's harder for you to be able to provide that for your kids, but some people can do it, and you know, good for you. And you know, for the people that feel like they're not doing such a great job at parenting, then you know, don't be so hard on yourselves, but you know, try to change little by little. Don't try to take big leaps. But regardless, you know, we're grateful for our parents. I'm grateful for my mother, which was my mother and my father at the same time. I'll be forever grateful for that. And the childhood that I had, you know, it shaped me into what I am right now. And other than that, you know, I think you would say the same thing about your parents.
Yeah.
And you know, your childhood. And we're blessed to still be alive. More than anything, you know, we're grateful that we had a life, that our parents gave us life, and we have, I think the beauty of everything is that we actually have memories of a childhood.
Yeah.
So, I think we would like to wrap up this video.
Sorry, it was a very long video, and you know, got the mom bun going on today, but mom life for sure.
Yep. And I'm wearing the beanie because I haven't gotten a haircut, and
Dad life.
and I'm very like particular about my hair. You know, we wish you guys a good night, or if you're watching this in the day, well then, good morning or good afternoon. Comment and subscribe, and you know, give us ideas. What do you guys, what do you guys have any questions? And she just smacked me in the head with that.
No, that wants to say
She's wild. She wild.
I swear she got that from you.
So yeah, don't forget to like the video, share it, and set up the little bell for notifications. And we'll be trying to post more videos, but as you can see, it's a challenge.
Well, thank you for watching our life to yours.
Bye bye.